What's going on, bulls? A lot has been going on in the Ethereum, Bitcoin, crypto market. We're going to start first by checking out the charts and follow the path and see what all is going on. Then we're going to dive into some news, some important news, and get some updates on there. So stick around. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button, because if you like crypto and you like to make money and you like to stay updated, this is the channel for you. Hit the sub and the like. So let's dive in first to the Ethereum USD, Ethereum dollar chart here. I'm on TradingView, and I have the 24-minute chart pulled up right now. And it looks like we're taking it all the way back to, well, I want to take it back to about here. This was yesterday, August 8th. I was trading last night, and the market just kept staying sideways yesterday, just going between 2,900 and 2,950. If we break this down into a smaller segment, you'll see, like, I was really just last night, like, trying to, here's this like stagnation that happened last night from, looks like about 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time to about 2 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. I'd stopped trading by then. I actually stopped trading because I went and watched the new Suicide Squad movie, streamed it upstairs on the big screen. And so I stopped trading for the night, and I'm sad that I did, because here's when I stopped, because I just got tired of this oscillating between like 29.10 and 29.50. Like, it just wouldn't move, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm not going to force a trade. And of course, just a little bit later, because I felt like it was going to break. Now, it ended up breaking down before it went on this big run. But I almost placed a trade along with some leverage. I was like, I think, because you can see it kind of trending up, and I'm like, I think this is a bit of what I would call a bull flag, meaning that, or a flag at least, meaning that it's going to break one way or another, and I felt like it was going to break bullish to the upside. And I was like, I should just place a trade around somewhere in the low 29s and just set a stop loss at like 28.80, which would have been fine. It would have been close, though. And then set some take profits along the way. And I wish I would have done that, because it ended up rallying all the way up to almost 3,200. Look at this. But now it's starting to break down again. See, again, we're on the 10-minute chart. Starting to break down again, just started happening, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes ago, and it's really coming down here. I actually think, because our next important level of support, you could say 3,000, of course, is a support level, because it's just psychological, and, well, but I think it goes a little under that. I think it actually gets down here, might push the 29.50 mark. You can see where there was this support here. I think it's going to push the 29.50 mark. Right now it's at 3,076. If this gets back up to above 3,100, I'm going to place a short trade and probably set a few take profits along the way with a stop loss of around 31.25 or so, depending on where I get in at. But I don't know if this is going to go back up. I don't know if it's going to get back above 3,100 before it gets below 3,000. So that's the update on the Ethereum chart. Let's check out the Bitcoin, the old Bitcoin, if you've ever heard of that before. So this is the Bitcoin and dollar. These ciphers down here, these indicators, I'll explain those in a second. You're seeing right now, Bitcoin seems to be at 45.6. While I was sleeping, Bitcoin broke above 46,000. Now that's an important barrier, because Bitcoin hadn't really been able to break above 45.5, and all of a sudden it breaks above 45.6, getting us all the way into almost 46.5 actually. Here we are. We're on the 10-minute chart here, and you can see these momentum waves. You see how it was really high right here. These red dots indicate tops, and the green dots indicate bottoms. Again, we're on a 10-minute chart. So we went, and this white line here indicates, with this one up here indicates overbought, and this one down here indicates oversold. And the green is the money flow. The red is also the money flow. Money flowing out in red, money flowing up in green. So if we zoom in a bit, you can see these momentum waves, what these blue waves are. And you can see the momentum kind of moving down, and then we get one last rally up, and then right here, this red dot gets printed, and it's kind of a trigger wave indicating to the downside for the bears. I wish I'd have got in, but I was making some other videos, and I just wasn't paying attention. I should have set some alerts. I did set an alert on my phone for, I don't know, I have so many alerts on my phone, I forget. Did I set one for 3,100? I thought I did. I don't know if that alert came up, though. Anyways, We're starting to swing down here. Our VWAP is this yellow line, volume weight average, and it's still below. So I do expect this to go down, just like Ethereum is. And it looks like the next level of support, you could argue, 45 being a support level for sure. You can see that there. And then the next one below that is probably about 44, maybe even 43.8. So if this goes down, I think it goes down to at least 45, dips under 45. I think that's going to happen. And then after that, I don't know. That's why I constantly check these charts. Let's pull it into a 30-minute chart. So it printed a top 2 here at about noon 30. I was making videos at this time. I should have been paying attention. Not that, and you can see here, this indicator down here draws a little line between that red dot and that red dot, indicating a shift in momentum to the downside. Those aren't always 100% accurate. We had one here too. You see that red dot, you see that red dot. Although that one worked out pretty decently, going from 44.5 down to 43.2. That would have been a nice little return, especially with some leverage. And now we had a little bit, it's still down, but then we swung up. Of course, this is where we really started to get up here, and Bitcoin got to the 46. Looks like the high got to, that thing just keeps cutting me out, but about 46.5. And of course, now we're coming to the downside. So we'll check this again at the end of the video. I want to go over this. I'm on CNBC, and they actually did a really good article here going over what happened, 5 things that happened in crypto in the past week. It's nice when I can find something like this to really sum it up, because I usually do this anyways, but it's nice to find it in just one article because they just kind of nailed it here. Of course, probably the biggest news of the week, other than Bitcoin and Ethereum rallying as usual. And when I say as usual, that's really over the last about 3 weeks. So this infrastructure bill, and I made a video on this. I think the last video I put out, I was talking about this, and this is something to really keep paying attention to, mostly because of their usage of the word broker and the taxation involved with it. We'll get more into that in a second. Of course, like I said, Bitcoin got above 46,000. Ethereum still couldn't bust through 3,200. Still sitting, got to a high of about 3,190 again. So to me, I thought Ethereum was leading the rally, but right now it seems like Bitcoin is leading the rally to me, because of course Ethereum having its EIP 1559, burning of Ethereum going on. We'll dive into that in a second. Actually, let's check that. We're on ultrasound.money, and so far since the hard fork happened, EIP 1559, the London hard fork, which was on the 5th of August. Today's the 9th of August. It's only been 4 days. It's burned over 19,000 Ethereum. So the supply, again, to reiterate this, the supply of new Ethereum coming into the ecosystem is drastically reduced from what it was before August 5th, meaning that the demand and supply and demand, the demand is at least where it is, but as you can see by the bull trend, the uptrend we've been having, the demand is going up, but the supply is actually down, and it's going to stay down. I don't mean the total supply is still going up, but it is going up at a much slower pace, because when you look at supply, you have to look at 2 things. You have to look at the amount that currently is and the rate of new supply coming in, which raises the total supply. The rate of new supply is drastically reduced from what it was before August 5th. And that was part of the reason why we moved into this upswing, this bull cycle, is because of the high anticipation of this Ethereum shift, and that it actually happened without a hiccup, because that was another thing. So that fear got dissipated. Let's dive back into that article. NFT market continues to boom, and it really, really does. If you don't know what NFTs are, it stands for non-fungible token. Hopefully one day we can come up with a better, more descriptive, easy to understand word for what these really are. But basically, they are authentic. They are certificates of authenticity, but they are real. They are 100% true and trustworthy and cannot be altered. And they are on a blockchain, which is really a ledger to just record history. OpenSea, which is the biggest NFT marketplace for sure. And by the way, if we go back here to Ultrasound Money, you'll see that OpenSea is also the #1 burner of ETH, right after Uniswap, which is the top DeFi platform. OpenSea is the top NFT platform. Axie Infinity down here is probably the top gaming platform right now. Let's go back into the article. CryptoPunk and Axie Infinity collectibles made up a significant volume of trading, accounting for over 134 million for CryptoPunk and 220 million for Axie Infinity. Again, these are all on the Ethereum network. OpenSea, well, CryptoPunk and Axie Infinity, really, but OpenSea too, because that's where NFTs get minted. You know, your Top Shots, your CryptoPunks, your Axie Infinity, your Gods Unchained, everything. Those are all NFTs. Okay, and those are something you can actually own that can't be replicated, can't be duplicated, can't be faked, and there's a real ledger showing that you own it, what wallet owns it in particular, and if you have the wallet, it can be verified, the ownership. So NFTs are still booming. Myself, I'm not buying a lot of NFTs. I actually think that it's going to turn around eventually, and then when it does turn around and a lot of NFTs go down in value, I am going to swoop them up, because even while the market's been soft for Bitcoin and Ethereum before this run we've had in the past few weeks, NFTs were still going up and up and up and up. So I'm very bullish on them. I just think that they will have a massive correction, and that's when I will swoop them up. That's my opinion. Maybe I miss out. Whatever. Not whatever. That's not fair. That's not true. I hope that's what happens. I hope I don't miss out. But I'm not going to let FOMO and emotion run me, because I do believe within the next year NFTs will go down a lot, and I will swoop them up. Second thing is, the new SEC chair says crypto industry needs more investor protection, who is Gary Gensler. And what he really says here is he's neutral in technology, he claims, right? He doesn't really care. In other words, he doesn't know much about it. But he knows that it's something people are investing in, and that's his job, being the SEC chair. We have a role as a nation to protect those investors against fraud. That's true. Now, that is a broad statement, and it sounds good. I hope he can keep to his word without messing with us, which we're going to be talking about the political bill, the infrastructure bill coming up in a second, which again is very important to pay attention to. If you're still watching, hit that like button. Super supports the channel. Thank you. Hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Number 3, Ethereum's major London upgrade went live, which we talked about, EIP 1559, the London hard fork. And so what that means is the part of every transaction fee will be burned. Now, it's important to remember this won't lower gas fees, transaction fees of the network. They can still be really high. But what this does is it reduces the supply of Ether, like I explained to you before. In particular, the supply of new Ether coming into the system. So if you ever heard of a stock-to-flow ratio model made really in the crypto world, really brought up by Plan B, that's his name, his alias, whatever. Stock-to-flow ratio is basically what I talked to you before about the current supply plus the addition of the new supply flying in. The stock is current supply, the flow is the flow of new supply coming in, right? And those two things make up the total supply. And then when you couple that with demand, it really gives you a way to determine price and forecast price. And again, with the flow of new Ethereum being diminished, being decreased dramatically, significantly, it really pushes Ethereum up. So I think Ethereum could come back to leading this market here. It's been stuck. It hasn't been able to pass that 3,200 mark. Right now we're at let's go back. Ethereum's at about 3,050. Gosh, I should have hopped in when it's still above 3,100 at least, because I'm positive. Let me go back to Ethereum. I just seem to be doing more Ethereum trades during all of this because of course, the burning going on. Gosh, I really think it's going to get back down to 2,900, at least to 2,950. But I don't want to FOMO in, because when I trade, I try to get in when I see the indicators telling me what's going to happen. And this is a bearish divergence here, meaning that it's looking like it's going to go down. I know the money flow is going up, but it's only the 30-minute range. But these dots here, this red dot means a top. It just looked good to me. Because you got this dot up here, which is a little overbought, and you got this one lower, and then this one lower, and that just shows me that the momentum is going down, which commonly is a strong indicator for the price to take a dip. And this 3,200 spot, it's just such a point of resistance that it makes sense with all of that put together that Ethereum would take a dip. Same thing with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is sitting there around 46,000, and that's a point of resistance for it. And if we go to the Bitcoin chart, we'll see the same thing. right? We'll see what I mean. Here's this red dot. Oh, it's hard for you to see. This red dot right here that I'm lined up on, if you can see it, this red dot right here or up here. And then you see this red dot pointing down. And it's like, uh-oh. Bitcoin 2, and it's sitting here around this $46,000 mark, which is a point of resistance for it, and it took a dip. And again, I think it's going to go down to at least 44.5, but it could go all the way down to, I'd say, 43 to 43.5. So I think this is going to come down a bit before it goes back up. But again, where, I don't know. It could only go to, this could be the bottom. This could be the bottom. This could be the bottom. But I think 44 is going to be the bottom, somewhere between 44 and 44.5. Back to the news. The binance.us CEO resigned after only 3 months. Now, from what I've come to understand, it doesn't say anything about it in here, but I've been looking into this, and it seems like, he's supposed to be the CEO of binance.us, but it seemed like he was just being told what to do by Binance, and he didn't like it. And he didn't want to be part of that, so he resigned because he wasn't actually able to be the CEO. That's what I've heard. That's what I've read. Is that fact? No, but that's what I've been hearing, because it is alarming to have a CEO in the biggest crypto exchange in the world, although Binance is, not Binance.us, because Binance.us is actually a franchise. It's supposed to be separate from Binance.com. This is his tweet. I'm leaving, basically what it says. So that's a really interesting thing. And the fifth thing for the week is, of course, the infrastructure bill, which everyone has been talking about. The provision would require brokers, we'll get into what brokers means in a second, to report gains in a type of 1099 form, which is like I think of it commonly as a independent contractor form, but really it's an earnings reporting form for kind of alternative non-employed stuff. Although this would probably be an investment form, I suppose, but I just would have thought it would have been something else other than a 1099. I'm going on a tangent, doesn't matter. In addition to reporting transactions of more than $10,000 to the IRS, which is already mandated. Yeah, it's already mandated, but currently the bill defines a broker, here's where we get into it, as any person who is responsible for regularly providing any service affecting transfers of digital assets on behalf of another person, which advocates say is too broad, and I strongly agree. Current definition would target miners, developers, stakers, and others who do not have customers and therefore wouldn't have access to the information needed to comply. They wouldn't even be able to comply, but yet they would be included because of the massive broadness of the term broker. Now, for this compromise amendment to be adopted, the Senate must achieve unanimous consent by Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Now, just because, even if it gets through the Senate as is, it has to get through the House after that, I believe. And there's just so much contention going on with this piece of the bill that I think it will get amended. It will get there will be a compromise. There will be an amendment that happens to change it. It may just get completely removed altogether. Originally, it was in there because they thought it would generate about $28 billion in revenue for them over the next 10 years, which really isn't that much money to the U.S. government. And in reality, I think it would generate more than that. But that's why it was in there, for them to pay for a little piece of them to pay for part of this bill. But I think it's going to get removed. It's going to get amended. It's going to get kicked out. Let's go back to the chart real quick. Let's pull up the 5-minute chart on the old Bitcoin. It just keeps going down. See, here we go. Where do? We dipped under 45. And again, I think it might get down to 44. I think it definitely gets down to 44.5. We look at this chart again. You can see the bearish divergence. We're up here. This momentum wave, this red dot, which means a top. And as you can see, it is a top, because it went down after that. And then here's a bottom, and that was a bottom because it went back up, but then here's another top, and it's so much lower than the last red dot that you can just see if I can get a little line drawn here. If they will let me. Yeah, I don't use that line function very much. Anyways, you can see that it's just, get out of here, that it's just much lower, and it shows the momentum moving down. And you can see, now this is only the 5-minute time frame, right? So you can't take it as gospel, because it's just not as much data as, say, at least the hour time frame, ideally the 2 or 4 hour. Yeah, but you can see things are shifting down. But we may be, as you can see this kind of whiteness, see how this whiteness, this lighter blue rather, kind of fades up into where the top or bottom is going to be. It's fading, so we could have a bottom printed soon, but it's a 5-minute chart, so you can't take it that crazy. I like to use the 24-minute chart. As you can see, I already drew a line for me here on this one. You can see this red dot down to this red dot. It drew a little red line there for me if you can see it. So this would have been an excellent entry point on a short. Right there. And it's down to 45. Now, right now, it's got back up above 45. But I think it dips down to at least 44.5, if not a little south of 44,000, before it turns around and goes back up. That's what I think, based on what I'm seeing. But I missed my entry point. I should have hopped in here, but I was just busy this morning and didn't able to get down. And you can't rush your trades, because if you rush your trades or you FOMO in, more often than not, you're going to get burned. You just got to wait for the next trade. There will always be another trade. You just got to wait for things to line up. I use these indicators down here, and I use points of resistance and support to, when it's nearing resistance, which was right here at 46,000, and this indicator coming in, you see the money flow. You're like, well, but the money flow is really thick green. Yeah, but that's where it usually gets to before it goes down. So I could have anticipated that, plus a red dot printed, and I felt like it was going to go down, because you can see it being stagnant here around the $46,000 mark, 45.5, 45,750 to 46 really. And so it's like it's only a matter of time before it's going to break one way, and it felt like it was going to break down, especially with the long rally, well, the up rally that happened here from, where are we? Down here. At 42.6. And again, let's go back to Ethereum, because I've been tracking that one actually a little bit closer. And you can see that it rallied too from about midnight, being around 2,900 to rallying all the way up to 32, which is an excellent return. It goes up over 10%. And if you're using leverage on that, use a 3x leverage, you'd be doing over 30%. Be fantastic. But now it's kind of coming back down. Same thing as before, we've hit this spot, about 3,050, really about, but I think it comes down. This is the next spot here, which is around 3,000. Then we've got 29.50. I think it comes down to at least 29.50, in my opinion. But who knows? It could turn around. I'll be following the charts. So that is the news, the goods, the goodies for today. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you want to keep staying updated on the charts, updated on crypto, and get help making more money with it. So, but none of this is financial advice. I have to say that. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I just follow crypto a lot, and I put a lot of money in it, and I like to make content. So hit that like button, hit that sub button. Check out the links in the description too. You can get some free Bitcoin and make interest on your crypto too. Have a fantastic day. You're awesome.